And now to health matters. World No Tobacco Day is observed on May the 31st annually with a goal to combat the increasing prevalence of tobacco consumption all over the world. And that's due to hazardous health effects on smokers and those who are exposed to secondhand smoke. The theme of this year is "We Need Food, Not Tobacco." It is estimated that there are more than 1.3 billion tobacco users worldwide, which represents 22.3% of the total global population. According to a recent report of the WHO, tobacco-related ailments such as cancer, diabetes, heart disease, stroke, lung illnesses, eye disease, tuberculosis kill about 8 million people each year around the world, and 1.2 million out of the figure lose their lives from exposure to secondhand smoke. In Nigeria, the WHO has estimated that over 30,000 Nigerians die yearly as a result of tobacco-related diseases. And joining me virtually from France for more discussion on the World Tobacco Day, World No Tobacco Day, is an environmental activist and chairman, Nigeria Tobacco Control Alliance, Akindode Oluwafemi. Good to have you join us.
Good afternoon.
So I'm sure that, as we have this conversation, there are people who are saying, look, why is there a big deal about tobacco, and how does it even, people can basically understand how it relates to health. But I'm sure they're wondering how it relates to the environment and what really is tobacco costing us as a planet.
So tobacco is a public health epidemic, as you rightly said in your intro. When we bring that figure, the global figure of about 8 million about 29,000 plus, close to 30,000 Nigerians die every year as a result of smoking. And added to that so many people that have to contend with serious illnesses like cancer, the cost of treating cancer, high blood pressure, series of diseases that are associated with smoking. But, in-depth research have shown us today that tobacco is not just a public health issue, it's an environmental issue. And most importantly, by the theme of today's World No Tobacco Day, it's a food security issue. In terms of the environment, about 45,000 billion cigarette butts, are thrown around the world every year. They constitute environmental nuisance. They contain microplastics. They eventually ended up in our soil, in the marine the ecosystem, and the rest of them. The whole processes of growing tobacco itself, you need a lot of chemicals. You need to cut wood for what is called kilning, and that degrades the environment. Now, when you grow tobacco as a crop is a major environmental stressor. And so when you introduce those chemicals, it actually degrades the farmland, and you can no longer plant food crop. It will no longer thrive on those farms. But most importantly is the fact that even those farm acreages that were supposed to be used to cultivate food, are used to grow a crop that is not wholesome, that is further exacerbating, public health problems in the world. And so today, we're using this opportunity now to call on governments around the world that over 300 million people are dying as a result of hunger. Over 150 to 200 million Africans are at the risk of severe hunger, and that the farmlands that they used to cultivate tobacco should be used now to cultivate crops.
To cultivate other crops. And you raise a very key issue, because just like, as you speak, I realize that just like, the oil companies and their impact on climate change and the planet, this is really more about accountability. And what steps can be taken to make the tobacco industry more accountable?
I think first and foremost is the issue of them abiding by the laws of the land. Like, for instance, in Nigeria, we have the National Tobacco Control Act. There are a series of measures, series of provisions, don't market to kids, health warnings, and the rest of them. Number two is that they must be made accountable for their past, present, and future environmental damages. Number three, cigarette butts are everywhere. Here in France, we're currently negotiating a treaty on plastic pollution in the world that includes microplastics, and cigarette butts contain microplastics. We've got to get mechanism to make them to pay. They must stop the use of filters, the use of microplastics in cigarette. So we are looking at legal framework, both at the international level, at the UN convention level, and as well interrogating our own government, sitting down with them, engaging them about what we need to do. Nigerian government is also currently drafting a regulation on plastics. And we think that, microplastics, cigarette butts should be a key component of that.
And we understand that tobacco products are the most littered products in the world, maybe cleaning up the environment, keeping them accountable in terms of, taking responsibility for cleanup will also be a good place to start. Thank you so much for talking to us, environmental activist and chairman, Nigeria Tobacco Control Alliance, Akindode Oluwafemi.
Thank you so much.